Hello everyone, welcome to the Tech Academy. So we are going to start a very fresh new batch for the AWS Cloud Solution Architect Associate. Means from this course, we will start from very basics like what is cloud computing, what is AWS, what is their competitions in the market, what is the market cap, and how AWS performing and why AWS. All the things we will start in the beginning of this session or in the course. Later on, we will go into the deeper topic, the main important topic, what is the infrastructure, what is the different services AWS provide, or what is the different services similar to AWS cloud provider is providing. All the things we are going to cover in this course. So initially we will start with the very basic concepts. Later on we will go to the AWS management console, we will have a look, and before that we will see how you can create your own AWS account. Once we have the account, then we will see the different AWS services. We will start with the permission services, then later on we will go to the compute services, database services, serverless services, and all those important services that a candidate know in 2025 if you are planning to crack cloud engineer role, network engineer role, infrastructure engineer role, even if you are planning for role related to AI and ML. So all those things, that would be a complete comprehensive course. You don't need to go anywhere. First we'll go with the theory portion, and whatever topics we are going to learn, everything will be implemented on your AWS console. So without delay, let's get into it. So we are going to start with the AWS. So first we will learn about the AWS. After the session, we will get into the more deeper topics. Okay, if you talk about the AWS Cloud History, the AWS basically internally launched for the internal operation purpose. In year 2002, they internally launched few of their services for their notification service, for their storage, all these things they have built in 2002, but it is not publicly accessible for the outside people. So they launched the services but for their internal operations only. In 2003, Amazon infrastructure is one of their core strength idea to the market. Means they were working internally, but they thought the entire operation, the entire flow can be very useful when it goes to the public. And at that time, AWS having their own best infrastructure into the market. So later on in 2004, they have launched their first public service, which is SQS, Simple Queue Service. We will definitely know more about this service when we go along with this course, right? But as of now, the first service launched by the AWS was SQS in the year 2004. So it was a game changer for the AWS when they launched their first service, and it is publicly accessible. So after a huge success of their first service, AWS worked on their different services, and in 2006, AWS officially relaunched their public services to the public, and this time they include the different services like SQS, S3 and EC2. So ideally, SQS was the first service launched by AWS for the public use, but ideally it was S3. So S3 is one of the first service which made AWS one of the biggest technical company in the market. So the first service that is launched which changed the entire flow of the AWS was S3 in year 2006. In 2007, they launched these services into the European regions, and they got a very good response from the different MNCs at that time. So the company was Dropbox, Netflix, NASA, all this company invested into the AWS, and these are the one of the biggest customer for AWS. Now AWS captured the market. We will see more about into the next slide how AWS performing in 2025. If we talk about the few amazing facts or the number about the AWS, so in year 2024, when this financial year ends, AWS had almost $107 billion annual revenue. And if we talk about the Q1 of 2025 with respect to it in Q1 in 2024, they goes almost 70% hike, right? So they are performing very well in term of the revenue. Talk about the market capture. So worldwide, AWS hold almost 35%. This is just a rough data, but almost 35% global cloud infrastructure market is captured by the AWS. And the second position is the Microsoft Azure, which holds almost 20 to 25%, and lastly the Google 10 to 12%. So as you can see, AWS is leading the market, and this is not in the recent year. Since beginning, AWS is the market leader. All the time, AWS hold the highest number of global market in term of cloud infrastructure. So first, AWS, because of that, they have the highest market capture. There is a lot of job in the market, and because of that, we have launched this course, because whatever you are learning, it should be fruitful in your career as well. Now, talking about the active users that the Amazon have, AWS has at this moment of time, they have over 1 million active users. And if you talk about the overall count, it can go more than 4 million registered customer on AWS console as of the 2025. So you can imagine almost 40 lakh, more than 40 lakh customer are using AWS, and this includes all individual and the business customer. So there is a lot of job opportunity in the market if you are a good engineer in term of cloud, in term of AWS. So we believe after ending this entire course, you become the expert and you have the hands-on experience, good theoretical knowledge. You will be able to crack any of the interview if they talk about in the cloud term. Okay, move to the next slide. Talking about the use case. You pick any of the use case in the market. If you talk about any use case related to the big data, website hosting, content delivery, social media, game development, deployment, backup, storage, anything. You say any of the use case, AWS will be there. At this moment of time, in the market, if you want to build anything, host anything, do anything with the AI, big data, or any sort of technology, you have to include your cloud infrastructure in your use case. And if it comes to include the cloud infrastructure, AWS will be there. AWS will be the big name when it comes to deliver the lowest latency content delivery storage solutions, right? So AWS empowers you to build scalable, secure, and sophisticated applications across wide range of industry. It supports any industry name you can pick. AWS will be there, and AWS are supporting all of those industry. So few of the examples: enterprise are IT infrastructure, backup and storage services, big data processing and analytics, website hosting and content delivery, mobile, social media application, game development and the deployment, and any other use cases. Everywhere AWS will be there. Now go to the next slide, talking about the global infrastructure. So before understanding the global infrastructure, we must know what is regions, what is availability zones, what is data center, edge locations, all those things, right? So in short, I'll tell you, talking about the AWS region. So AWS region is nothing but a specific geographic location worldwide. And in AWS console, you will get to know about it with the name US East 1, EU West 3, US East 2, 2B, something like that. In the left hand side, you can easily see US East, which is in North Virginia. And it is identified as a US East 1. We have the India, like Asia specific, we have the Mumbai region, which is AP South 1. So region is nothing but a geographic location in the global map. So if you talk about any continent, any country, you can pick it and that would become your region. And in a region, there would be the different data centers. Those data centers is called as a availability zone. But before that, if you are a cloud engineer, you have some solution to implement with the help of AWS or on the cloud infrastructure, how you are going to pick the region. If you talk about how you can choose an AWS region, so it depends upon the different factors. Definitely it depends on the pricing, that is one of the most important point, but before that you also have to consider the different points. First and most important, that is the compliance. Every government having their own rule and regulation. So if you are going to implement some solution over the cloud infrastructure, you also have to consider in which country you are going to deliver your product or you are going to host it. So whatever your content is, whatever your business it should compliance with the government policies. So first thing would be the compliance with the data governance and the legal requirement. Data never leaves the region without your explicit permissions. Second one is the proximity to the customer. Means whatever reason you are going to pick, it should deliver the content, it should give the response with the lowest latency to the end customer. So if you are sitting in India, you are picking the server 5,000 kilometers away from the region, it definitely differ in term of the latency. It will take some time to deliver the content to the end user. So you have to optimize, you have to pick from which location you have the most number of people, most number of the users, so that you can pick the region nearer to that specific and user, so that user will get the lowest latency and the smooth content delivery on their smartphones, websites, whatever it is, right? So first one is the compliance, it should comply with the government rule and regulations. Second is the proximity, means it should get the lowest latency when it comes to deliver the content to the end user. Third one is the available service. So it might be in some reason there is a few services are not available, that is very important for your use cases for your business. So before implementing your solution in any of the region, you first identify whatever service you are going to use for your business, it should be available in that specific region, then only you should pick that. And last and most important, that is the pricing always differ based on the regions, right? So if you are going to pick the different infrastructure from the different region, you also need to consider the pricing, because pricing varies region to region and it transparent in service pricing piece as well. So I believe now you are clear how you are going to choose the AWS region. Now you pick the region. Suppose you pick the India region or America or EPN region, any region you have picked, right? And now then you have to pick which availability zone. Sometimes AWS will do it for you. Sometimes end customer have to pick it by their own, right? So first we understand what is AZ, which is availability zone. So each region having multiple availability zones. Usually it is 3, but it should minimum would be the 3 and maximum would be the 6. So this can be in your examination, what would be the minimum number of availability zone in any specific region. So minimum should be 3, right? Each availability zone is one or more discrete data center with redundant power, networking and connectivity. Before that, you understand, first you pick a region, any continent or any country. In the country, there is a specific location where the data centers, their computational power, computational resources, all those things will be situated, right? So availability zone, nothing but a geographic location in the specific region that you have already chosen, right? So availability zone having at least 3 in any region, and all these 3 availability zone having their discrete data centers with redundant power, networking and connectivity. Means these are separate from each other. Even their synchronization, their data duplication would be there, but still in terms of power, networking, connectivity, they are separate, they are isolated. So if one availability zone goes down, other one still be available to deliver to the user. So they are separate from each other so that they are isolated from the disaster. They are also connected with the high bandwidth, ultra low latency network, so that end user don't feel any latency if there is a 1 or 2 availability zone goes down. So these are the main point you must know before starting any of the cloud computing course. Now go to the next slide. Now at least you have the basic idea what is the infrastructure. Now you can go through this video. I'll put the video link into the description box. Go through that. It will help you to create your first AWS account. It will ask you your credit card or debit card detail for the 2 rupees of transaction as the authentication you are an authorized user or not. Once you do it, after some time you will get it back. Okay, so I'll put this link into the description box. Go through that, create your first AWS account, and in the next video we will talk about more about the console, how your console look like, what is the different options you can use in a regular basis, how to find the service, how to get into this service, how to launch it, all the things we are going to cover in this course. So I hope this video helped you to get a better idea what those basic infrastructure details are. If it is, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment below if you have any doubt, and see you into the next video. Thanks for watching.